Hello, Creative Gems. Welcome back to Creativity. And if you're new here, I'm Sandy. Today I have several sets of these brass wreath rings from the Dollar Tree. These come in a set of three, and each ring in the set is a different size. I think these are typically used to wrap floral garlands, but today I'm going to repurpose several sets of these to make wall decor with four different looks. Here I have already sorted out 5 sets of rings into large, medium, and small rings. Using all of these rings, I'll be making a large wall decor piece and I'll come up with 4 different designs. I'm going to lay the rings onto the floor where I can play around with the rings and see what kind of patterns I can come up with. I'm starting with the largest rings first, placing them into a circular pattern. There's really no rules to follow, I'm just seeing what pattern piques my interest. You can overlap the rings if you want, and you can see here that's what I've done. Next, I'm going to go and set down the medium-sized rings. Again, there's no rhyme or reason as to where I need to place them. It's all about coming up with a pattern that is pleasing to the eye, and I can continue to do that with the smallest rings as well. This kind of reminds me of those patterns you could see in a kaleidoscope. And here I have started all over again to see if I can come up with a different pattern. I think in the end, I probably came up with about 4 or 5 different patterns until I finally settled on one. And once you have settled on a pattern, it's then time to preserve the pattern by securing the rings together with some nylon ties. I have chosen to use white nylon cable ties because I think it may be easier to camouflage them later. And while we work on tying down the nylon cable ties, I would like to take a moment to thank you for tuning in to today's craft project. If you enjoy glam home decor and DIY crafts on a budget, please help me grow my channel by hitting that subscribe button. And if you like what you see today, please give me a thumbs up as well so that YouTube gods will continue to recommend my channel to other viewers like you. And the best part is subscribing and giving me a thumbs up is absolutely free, but will make a world of difference to me and my channel. And here where I have 3 brass rings intersecting with each other, I'm going to attempt to use one nylon cable to secure all 3 together. I saw a little hack on a YouTube video recently where you're supposed to tie the cable in a figure 8 across all 3 rings, so that's exactly what I'll do. And I'll keep working on the nylon cable ties until the entire structure of the ring pattern is secured. Now with all the nylon cable ties tightened and secure, this is what my ring structure looks like. I am able to lift it off the ground without the rings moving or shifting. The cable ties are actually doing an excellent job keeping everything together. So now I'm going to go ahead and move this whole thing onto my craft table to continue working on it. The first order of business is to go ahead and cut off those excess cable ties. We want to cut them down as short as possible. When we have the last of our cable ties cut, we're going to paint them so they become almost invisible or at least not as noticeable. To do that, I'm going to be using a gold chrome paint marker. These liquid mirror markers were sent to me by J. Diction, and let me tell you, these are the very best liquid mirror chrome markers out on the market. As I pointed out, these are high gloss liquid chromium, which makes all the difference in the world if you're looking for a true mirror-like finish. Most chrome markers out there are not high gloss, so you won't get that shiny finish like this one. And the pack that I have comes with three colors, a gold one, a silver one, and a brass one. So I'm going to go ahead and use the gold one to paint the white nylon cable ties. The first thing to do is to shake the marker. You'll hear it because there's a tiny little ball they place inside to mix up the color. Then you can open up the cap and press down on the tip for a few moments until the paint starts to descend onto the tip. So I'm going to go ahead and paint all the nylon cable knots that we made, and you can see the gold blends quite nicely with the brass rings. And in fact, in a previous craft project from earlier this year, I actually used these same chrome paint pens to transform old picture frames into shiny gold and silver vanity trays, and they came out absolutely beautiful. If you missed that video, I'll leave a link below in the description box. Oh, and by the way, if you want to grab a pack of these high gloss chrome markers, I'll leave a link in the description box along with a coupon code so you can get an additional discount. And now with the cable ties painted, here's what our wall decor piece looks like so far. This piece measures 35 inches across, so that's almost 3 feet. It's gold tone and quite nice if you want something large but not too loud on your wall. But if you know me, I'm all about bling and glam, so we're going to take this back into the studio and dress it up. I have a bunch of these clear diamond shaped gems from the dollar store, and we're going to hot glue a few of them onto the wall decor piece. I'll start by placing them where these rings intersect each other, and then we'll see how it looks. The idea is to try and cover the painted cable ties as much as possible, and I've also decided to add a gem between the medium-sized rings as well. And with the wall decor piece rehung on the wall, this is what it looks like with the gem pieces. I really think the gem pieces make a huge difference to the wall decor, and it gives it a more upscale look. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you prefer design number 1, the plain gold one, or do you prefer design number 2, the gold one with the gem pieces added? Or how about a third design? Let's take this back into the craft studio and dress it up further. Here I have a gold frame mirror I found at the Dollar Tree. It's a sunburst style mirror, and I think it would look great placed in the center of the wall decor piece we just made. To secure it, we're going to go with our trusty nylon cable again. I really don't want to mess with any glue because the brass rings are too thin to put glue onto anyhow. And while we work on this, let me know down in the comments if you have ever crafted with these brass wreath rings before. And if so, did you make wreaths or did you repurpose them like how I'm doing to make other home decor? For me, I have crafted with a variety of wreath rings and wreath forms, but I rarely make wreaths with them, unless it's around Christmas season. Typically, I will repurpose the rings to make other home decor pieces like candle holders and sconces, as well as this wall mirror. In fact, I really get a kick out of taking normal household items such as spoons, napkin holders, empty tin cans, and then coming up with creative ideas to craft with instead of using them for what they were intended to be used for. I think it's all part of the fun in crafting, don't you think? Now, with the mirror tied down, we'll turn this entire structure over, and we'll also turn the cable ties so they face the back of the mirror and then cut off the excess. We want to make these cable ties as invisible as possible, so after we cut the excess cable ties, we'll go ahead and use our gold liquid chrome marker to paint them. Here you can see the white cable ties peeking through. And here is design number 3 with the gold mirror installed in the center. I really love this version with the mirror, and I think this makes this wall decor piece much more luxurious looking, don't you think? But guys, if you know me, you know what I'm more of. I'm more of a silver gal. So we're going to take this back into the studio and we're going to transform this gold wall piece into a beautiful silver piece. We will literally turn all the brass rings as well as the gold frame mirror into silver. And to do that, we're going to use the silver liquid chrome marker. You see how this tip is angled? This makes a huge difference, especially when you need to get color into tight corners and edges. With other similar chrome markers I have tried, the tip is usually rounded, which makes it almost impossible to use around edges and corners. Now, you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy that I'm painting this 3 feet wall decor piece with a marker, but I'll tell you, it's a lot easier than you think and much less messy. In fact, you'll rarely see me use spray paint for my craft pieces anymore. That's because I generally don't like aerosol paint. Not only is it not good for the environment, but it's also extremely messy and inconvenient because I would have to wear a mask and spray paint outside and then leave it outside to dry. It's just not that convenient, especially when the weather starts to turn cold like where I live. And plus, spray painting this piece would be extremely wasteful since there isn't much surface area to cover. So we're going with the silver liquid chrome marker, and I already know the result is going to look amazing. As I paint this piece, you'll start to see a shiny reflective finish, unlike other silver chrome markers, which usually give a very matte, dull finish. This one actually gives an almost mirror-like finish. I just wish that I had a better camera to show you, but I'm using my phone camera, which is not the greatest quality. But in real life, this silver is looking very glossy and shiny. And once I'm done the front of the mirror, I'm going to go back into the inside grooves as well. The tip is long enough and it has a slant that allows me to get in between the grooves and get into those corners as well. And I'll also turn the structure around later and paint from the back as well. And when I'm done the frame, I'll continue to paint the brass rings as well as the nylon cable tie knots. The entire piece will become a metallic silver piece. And by the way, I forgot to mention that these liquid chrome markers dry permanent. After painting, I would recommend to let everything dry for at least an hour before touching it so the paint doesn't rub off. You can see how quickly and easily we can paint the brass rings. The paint goes on very smoothly. I really love these markers and I think they're a real game changer when it comes to adding a metallic finish to my home decor crafts. And here I've changed out the craft paper I was using underneath, and I'm actually going to flip this entire ring structure over so I can fill in the grooves and corners from the back as well. This is probably the most time consuming part of this project, but well worth it. And here I've turned the whole thing right side up, and as a final embellishment to finish off this fourth design for this wall mirror, I'm going to add a few more gems onto the structure. I'll place them by where the cable nuts are to hide them as much as possible. I really want this wall piece to pop, and I think the additional bling will do the trick. Of course, if you want a more muted look, you can skip this step, but if you're familiar with my crafts and my style, you'll know what I always say, the more bling, the better. I have decided to go back in and add a row of this beautiful rhinestone ribbon to the frame of the mirror. I really love this trim because it literally glitters and sparkles when the sun hits it, and that's exactly what I want to achieve with this wall piece. And with all that said and done, here's the final design for our wall decor piece for today. I have this hung above a bed. This room gets a lot of sun, and usually when the sun starts to set, you can really see this wall piece sparkle. On the other hand, I also think this piece would look beautiful above our couch in the living room. Either way, this piece was so much fun to make, and I want to thank J Diction for sending me their amazing liquid mirror chrome markers. If you want to grab a pack, check the link in the description box along with the coupon code for an additional discount. In the meantime, let me know in the comments which design from today's video you like best, and then stick around to check out these next videos for more amazing glam home decor craft ideas.